Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome back to the Prestige Reef Dork Show. For the last couple of weeks, Ryan's deserted me. He's had better things to do.
But is there anything better than this?
There is nothing better than this. But let's just one thing before we start. Everybody, Ryan's back. Say hello.
I saw how lonely you were last week, so I thought, this is like charity for me coming to talk to you for a couple of hours a week.
I know.
It's either charity or therapy.
Yeah, well, a bit of both maybe. But I played the all by myself music, and people are like, "What the hell is going on?" It's like, "Is Alex having a meltdown?"
Yeah.
But anyway, no. So we are. Yeah, you're back. You've been away for a month.
Yes. Yeah, it's been 5 weeks.
5 weeks. So first off,
how's the farm? You last saw me here.
Yes, indeed. Yes. Did the farm cope without you?
Yes, I only lost about 5 pieces, and there's probably like 7,000 pieces in there. Weirdly, it was a couple of fungias. I only noticed today. What was it? A glitter gonny. I lost my glitter gonny. All the other gonnies are fine. All the cheap ones are fine. I had one glitter gonny, and it just disappeared. Either it was
the one you showed me you'd had for years.
Yes. That is it. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Gutted, but apart from that, most stuff was all right.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Yeah. All the SPS was growing out of control, basically. Les said, tell him to check the chat, but I'm not sure what that means. Ryan?
Yeah, so I'm looking at, it says, the date says next week, so it looks like I might have stuffed up and put the wrong date, but the post said this Sunday, because there weren't that many people waiting when we were in the chat, and there aren't that many people now, so I wonder if I stuffed up and I put the wrong date, because it's when you do it on 29th of Jan. Yeah, that's next week. What a dickhead. Oh, well, never mind. We're here.
Oh, it's early.
Yeah, we're here a week earlier, Ryan.
Well, I'm prepared for this, so I'll be back next week.
Yeah, I know. Well, that matters not, because I have prepared, and I've stuffed the data. I don't know why I did that. That's weird. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Hello, everybody. People might join. But do you know what the thing is? I bet, because I did the video this week on Friday saying I'm only uploading once a fortnight.
Yeah.
And then I bet if you go and click on my channel, you're like, oh, not live streams next week. You're like, yeah, he's up. But live streams are every week. Live streams are every week, and they will continue to be every week. So I don't know. It's just the Friday videos that take longer that I need more time for.
So I should be here next week. Is that what you're saying?
You should be here next week. Yeah.
You're not replace me.
You did. You saw people were missing you as well.
Yes. I only saw one comment. So maybe at least one person missed me. I can't remember who it was.
Literally just one person. Yeah.
Just one person. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway.
You.
Sorry.
That person was you.
It was me. Yeah. Me plus one, I think, to be fair. Apparently the other guests don't appreciate the nipple chat, which is probably Les saying, "Get your nipples out." So
yeah,
that's the point. Yeah. Do we get biceps given that you've been away for so long?
You got my Mindy, didn't you? That was my.
Yeah, but that's I want your biceps, Ryan.
Well, maybe next time. That's gonna be my response now. Every time someone asks, maybe next time.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, never basically. But yeah, and just firstly, I just want to talk quickly about the. So on Friday, my video said I've been doing videos every week for 4 years, and now I'm changing to doing every other week. And it's just, I've got to the point where if I want to do, like, the channel did really well last year, but not as well as I wanted it to. And if I'm going to, this year again, if I'm going to do as well as I want to this year, if I just do the same thing I did last year, it's a waste of time. If I'm going to do exactly the same, I'll grow the same amount as I did last year.
Yeah.
So I thought I needed to change. And so many videos I found that it's like, I don't, like I said in the video, I've got 3 evenings to make them. And I'm like, well, I can squeeze that in, so it'll still be good. Let's do that, rather than the list of videos that I've got that I can't wait to make. Like the video from last week was about myth in the hobby. That's been on that list for 2 years, maybe 3 years.
Do we get a little taste of another video, or you won't tell me because I'll make it maybe.
Wait, what's the? Oh yeah, it's my advice to you. New to saltwater. My advice to you. That's the next one, and that's another one. There's videos. It's not like every video suddenly is going to be the best thing you've ever seen in your life, but they're just going to be so much better.
Yeah.
And I don't want to make a video just for the sake of it, just for the algorithm.
I'll definitely notice the improvement between the.
Well, you won't because you don't even subscribe.
And the new videos, which I won't watch.
Exactly, bastard. But anyway, yeah. So there we go. So that's that. I just wanted to cover that off very quickly. And actually, do you know what? The response from in the comments was just so positive. I did think actually a part of me was like, there are some people who just like watching, like channels I watch. I look forward to their videos coming out every week. I watch them all the time.
Yeah.
And so if some people did that and stopped uploading so often, I'd be like, oh, that's a shame. So I did. Part of me was like, I might be letting people down, and I'm sure some people do feel that way. But the response in the chat, in the comments, was just really positive, and everyone was like, "Mate, that's great. You do what you need to do, all that sort of stuff." So
the best comment you got, other than the one that I put there, was someone wrote, "You're still more consistent than Ryan's channel."
Yeah, exactly. I saw that.
So I don't even reply to my comments on my channel, but I decided to reply to that one because I wanted to agree with them.
You did, yeah. I saw that as well. But so your comment, YouTube blocked it.
I know.
I had to approve it. Did it show up? I approved it. I don't know if it's.
Yeah. Well, no, I can see even if it's blocked, it still shows up for me as being posted.
Ah, okay.
So I don't.
Sometimes I unblock comments and then I can't find it, so I don't know if it just loses. But anyway, it was very fun.
Thank you. I try my best.
Bahama Llama only does a video every 14 years, but I still watch him. Yeah.
Still more consistent than me.
The better comparison is because what's his name? Coral Euphoria. He does videos every so often, basically, and yet his views are consistently really, really good, and his videos are consistently brilliant. So I appreciate that. And the thing is, though, I do find myself thinking, can I have another Coral Euphoria video, please? So I'd like more, but I live with it. But there we go. Yes, I would like some whale shark wisdom, Jason. Every week when you were away, it was still whale shark. Yeah. What point will this go away, do you reckon? Never.
I'm not even sure how this has become a thing.
I know. I don't.
There's certain things which have become regular, consistent things on each live stream. I've noticed. Yeah. And whale shark guy. Well, then again, when he wasn't there for 1 week, you did miss him.
I did, yeah, completely. I was like, oh man, where's all the whale shark bands?
So you don't realize what you've got until it's gone.
Exactly. And one last comment: more livestock, less products would be my preference, but for sure, don't be a slave to the algorithm. So this is that I don't do many product reviews actually, and I think I only did 3 last year, or certainly only 2, maybe 2 or 3 that I was given for free. Sometimes I review stuff that I've bought myself because whatever, but I don't plan. My plan at the moment, and this might change, is to do product reviews on the Reef Dork Extra channel rather than on here. Because if I want to do absolutely banging videos that reach massive audiences, that's not like a new light, for example.
Yeah.
So I still want to do product reviews because I think they're good, but I don't want to clog up if I'm halving the number of videos I make, I don't want 10% or 20% of that to be product reviews that are not these banging videos that I want to make. So I'll still do them, but
you're really sort of like bigging yourself up. You're setting the bar very high by going, I'm going to be the new Coral Euphoria.
No.
If I do it every 2 weeks, the video's going to be so much better.
I'm very clearly not the new Coral Euphoria. Abe is just in a world. He's on his own level. He's fantastic. I'm not trying to be anyone else.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to be a better version of Reef Dork.
If you're trying to reach masses of people, we may both have picked the wrong topic to reach masses of people.
Well, this is potentially true, but people do love inverts. Someone's saying that my mic is quieter than it normally is. Could someone else confirm? How is
you sound fine to me, and I just wonder if the reason I sound louder is because my microphone's literally here. So
mine is literally here. So I don't know. I did my headphones were oh, it says compared to yours. That's annoying.
Yeah.
But I've not touched my microphone button for well 6 months.
I basically got a big mouth, so
That's it. You're just you're a gobby guy anyway. And my microphone is on the side. I'll just check the levels. It's all fine. So it's all fine. We're just gonna have to deal with it. Audio is fine. There is some slight feedback coming from mine. That comes and goes. So we're all good. Right. Shall we crack on?
yes, but very quickly.
Go on.
Someone just said New York Stilo is back. Do you know who New York Stilo is?
So I know I've heard of him, and I'm aware of him, but he came around before I got into the hobby. He left, before I came to the hobby.
I did not know. I'd be interested to see what he's doing now. But anyway, well, let's continue. I was just surprised.
No, that's worth talking about. So because he was, I didn't ever see any of his videos. In fact, I don't even know if he has videos.
He was like the original reefing YouTuber, I think. I think he was like maybe the very first one.
You know what? He's done like half a dozen videos in the last month.
Has he?
8 videos, in fact. Freshwater. Boo.
Oh, no, it's just not the same.
An introduction and a clip of what's to come. Right, check out New York Stilo. I am going to put that in my watch later thing. Sorry,
I'd be interested to see if they're the same as they used to be or if they're different.
What was he like? I don't even know.
I watched him when I first started, which was obviously a long time ago. So, but yeah, it's just it's one of those people where they disappear and you assume they're never coming back, kind of like Aaron's aquarium. But you never know. I mean, there's still hope for Michael.
Come on, Michael, where are you? I was thinking today I should offer him £100 to come and do like an hour's interview.
I don't think he wouldn't take. I spoke to him actually, probably about 2 weeks ago. I spoke to him.
Really?
He wanted some advice on air conditioning, so I gave him some advice, and yeah, that was about it. Nothing fish.
No, he's not interested in fish at all, is he, anymore?
No, he hasn't got a tank or anything.
Yeah, he's completely
yeah. But he is about to have a new air conditioning unit.
There you go. Supplied by you?
No. So anyway.
All right. Well, so and apparently Stilo is trying to transition back to saltwater once people give him a new setup. Give him a new setup. Okay. Whatever. But cool. Yeah, I'll be up for that. I've never seen one of his videos, but I'm aware of him.
I think videos have probably advanced a long way since when he was first doing it. He was kind of just had a camera that was like, yeah, this is my tank. So I can't remember. I can't remember what. That's why I'm interested to see if his videos are different now than they were before. So.
Interesting. Well, I will look out for that. CJ's aquarium is coming back. That's the big one for me. His videos are still good. Still gold, and his new build could be epic. I'm aware of CJ. Do you know CJ's aquarium?
Yeah, man.
At Magna.
Yeah, it was a Magna. Yeah.
Cool.
I didn't know that he stopped doing it. If I'm honest, I don't really watch other YouTubers.
I know. But yeah, cool. New York Steely has a video explaining why he stopped YouTube. And the reef, and a shame for Aaron's. Yeah, okay. Listen, I love that sort of stuff when people talk about why they stop and that sort of thing. So
basically, we need to disappear. I almost have disappeared, but we need to disappear so that people then, they're like, "Where's that person?" And then when we come back, everyone's excited.
Yeah, I'm not sure people would be excited, Ryan. To be honest, they'd be like, "Oh bollocks, he came back."
Queen of Luke just said, "You don't watch me." I don't even watch Alex.
No.
I messaged Alex the other day to say, what is your latest video about? Because the title intrigued me, and Alex wouldn't tell me, so he forced me to watch it.
Did you watch the whole thing?
No.
You bastard.
I watched probably like the first, minute of it, and then was like, that's enough, dislike button.
It's disappointing, Ryan.
I did comment though. Which some good algorithm for you.
I don't think that makes much difference, to be honest. But Stephanie, you sent me a message the other day, and like the first 10 seconds of it came through, nothing else did. So if there was something else that you wanted to say, repeat the message. Ping me again. what else was I going to say? Whale sharks. Did you know there are 2 whale sharks in a Georgia aquarium? They hate each other. I did know there was a whale shark. I didn't know there were 2. And I didn't know they didn't like each other. But there we go. Facts. Moving on. Eat Sleep Reef hasn't done a video in a year. Used to like him too. Sadly, I prefer Ryan on the live stream instead of his own videos. But his videos are very informative, just sometimes seem scripted. Well, they are scripted.
They are scripted, so thank you for they come across as they're meant to be.
There is a compliment in there somewhere, Ryan. You got.
I'm sure. I think he said he likes me on the live streams. So
there you go. Yeah.
I like having you here as well, just another reefer, with handed compliments.
Is just another reefer your favourite viewer?
How can I make this a compliment that's not a compliment? I'm not smart enough to do that, but you know what I wanted to do.
This might be dangerous. You might be about to upset my audience. Do you need algae eating snails if you have tangs? Right. Well, we'll come on to that. Yes, is the short answer. The first thing I want to do though is member questions, of course. And you didn't even have to prompt me this time, Ryan. I remembered all on my own.
True.
Which is very unlike me, to be honest. And so I'm going to go to, if I can remember where my community tab is. Actually, do you know what? I want to talk briefly about. I did a poll earlier. Yeah, in fact, let's talk about that now.
We're not going to get on to the topic, are we? We're now 17 minutes in and we've not started.
Hang on a second. Hang on. Your videos are good.
Good. Good, but
not brilliant, just good. Yeah. Damned with faint praise. But this is you will hate this. Okay. You'll despise this. But there's have you seen the new AI blade light?
Yes, I have. Yes.
We have. There we go. Yes. So on the marketing description or whatever, it lists all the lighting spectrum, and it lists 3 of the LEDs as UV.
I saw
410, 420, and 430, or something like that. None of which are UV. UV is 400 and below.
Yeah.
And there's been a little bit of conversation about that. And I posted a poll the other day that had 1,300 votes, and I said, when buying a light, is it important to you that it has LEDs listed as UV? And the reason I asked that question is because I don't think anyone cares. And I don't think that factors into anyone's purchasing decision. And the fact that the companies list it as UV when it's not, they shouldn't do it. It's, I just call them violet instead or something if you want to simplify it. So I don't think they should do it, but I don't care. It just doesn't matter. And of the votes that came back, let me share my screen. Share screen. Oh God, which one is it? That one? Yeah, here we go. So of the votes that came back, let's make that a bit bigger. So no was 27%. People aren't influenced. 29% a poll, which is basically I don't care.
Yeah.
And yes, 44%. So yes, 44% of people said, of the 1,300 people said they are influenced or they look for UV in a light. I actually don't believe that.
Okay.
I don't think that anybody looks. Have you ever looked at, when you're looking for a light, have you ever gone, oh, let me make sure it's got a bulb that says UV? Oh, it hasn't. No, I'm not buying it.
No. All I look at is other people who have success and go, what lights are they using?
Exactly. I think what people do is you look at other people's tanks, whether it's on a forum, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, Instagram, and then you look at watch the BRS videos. A couple of reviews. You look at what is in your local fish shop. And then you look at, and so ideally see how it looks in the flesh, and then you buy it, and then like on your budget.
Why do they put? Do you actually know the reason? Why do people put?
So that's the thing. I don't know. I don't really get it. I don't see why they bother because it's actually that is misleading to call it UV. Whether or not UV has any benefits, who knows? There's nothing out there on it really, but it might do, and people think, oh, UV, that's special. So I don't understand why they do list it, but I think the fact that they do and the fact that it's misleading, I don't think it matters. It doesn't bother me.
It's it's like garlic in fish food. There was a test that was done, and garlic's actually bad for fish. So it's interesting because, and if you think about it, it makes sense for it to be bad for fish because they're not going to be swimming around and seeing garlic in the sea, are they? So it does into their liver, but because people think it does something, manufacturers put it in the food, and then people are buying it thinking they're doing something good. And I'm not saying it's like significant. It's not going to kill your fish overnight. It's just it's not,
It's
and it
not
does,
healthy for them.
it can to some extent, I believe, although this is again anecdotal, help a fish that eat if it's not eating. But people who are regularly buying garlic because they think it's good for them, all they're doing is sort of seasoning their fish up from the inside.
Yeah, exactly. Making them delicious.
Yeah.
But it's like that. It's like that if someone was selling food, advertising it as including garlic, if it didn't include garlic.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, that's even worse.
Ginger or whatever. But I genuinely don't believe, and 44% of people said they're influenced by that, by it saying if it's got LEDs listed as UV. Yeah. I don't think that's true. I think the 1% is the 1% of the hobby who are looking down the spectrum list and going, oh, does it say UV? And that 1% probably know that UV is 400 or below anyway. So I don't believe that poll. And I think my take on it is it doesn't matter.
What would you have said if I said I am one of those people that look for it? In fact,
I would have been amazed. Right?
Are there any lights that genuinely do have it?
I think Kessel does.
Oh, do they?
And I think Metal Halides did. Maybe T5s. I don't know. I don't know because I've never really looked into it.
No.
Like if you were to prove, because it's not like a UV sterilizer where water's passing through and it's going to kill pathogens or whatever.
Yes, yeah.
It's like, so if I've never seen anyone say, here are the benefits of UV. There were a few people, actually. This is one thing in the comments. There are a load of comments on that, and lots of people said, "Oh, if I want fluorescence, then yeah, I look for that." UV doesn't cause fluorescence.
Yeah, I know, but that's
nothing to do with UV.
That's with the sliders though, because when it says UV and you put the slider on, it makes the corals. So it's not actually UV. If you see what I mean. Yeah,
that's true. But if that was the case, if you were buying it because you wanted fluorescence,
yeah,
then all LEDs give fluorescence. If it's around anything around like the blue spectrum,
yeah, makes
corals fluoresce. But then the fact that lots of people said, "Oh yeah, I want my corals to fluoresce," makes me think that people don't understand it, and I don't think that influences people's decision. There was one person who said, "I use UV because I want it to make my mushrooms bounce."
Yes, because that is said to be what causes the bounce in bounce mushrooms. It protects from UV, apparently.
I don't buy that because mushrooms are generally, anyway, whatever. That's whatever. Basically, I think the fact that light companies list UV when it's not UV is stupid. I don't see why they do it, because if they're trying to simplify it, call it violet, so then people can't say, "Oh, it's UV." You shouldn't be doing that, because you shouldn't be listing it. But I don't think it makes an ounce of difference.
I saw what Telegram said about give Violet some love this weekend, because he did as I'm sure you saw it. He did like a video on it where he's driving his car. Yeah, that's how I know this went on. Because I watch his channel, so that's
yeah. But that's so I started that by asking him about it, because I was like, why? I don't understand why companies do it, because unless you're deliberately trying to mislead someone, why not just call it violet instead?
Yeah.
Anyway, but I don't think it matters. It's not. It's like that Instagram post blew up, and there was lots of strong opinions, and I just think it doesn't matter. I don't think anyone cares. I'm just trying to log into my app just to see. I don't know if it is listed as UV on the app. One sec. Maybe. Whilst I'm
no, it's not.
Look.
Oh no, there is. Yeah, it does say UV. It's interesting.
What is that? Radions?
Yeah, that's on the Radion ones. Yeah.
Because funnily, I went on the Radion specs online, and it didn't. It said 400 nanometers, but it didn't say UV. On the actual app, it says UV. That's funny. I don't. Yeah, I don't. It's interesting. I'm just having a look, because I wonder where that is on. Because I just use the AB plus setting, so I wonder how much of the AB plus is that. So. No idea, but all I'm interested in is blue and white. So because I want it to look white during the day so I can see my fish, and blue in the evening so I can see my corals. Well, I see them grow, but I just thought it was funny, and it was just a storm in a teacup, and everyone had really strong opinions on that thread. And it might have come across one way, whereas I just think I don't really care what people write, because I didn't even know anyway.
If you see what I mean, I know you're saying
Exactly. No one knows.
do it, but I did. Oh, according to this one person in the comment section, who I believe is a very reputable source, it says the Radions do have true UV. I don't know if that's. I don't know, but
who knows? But it seemed like a bit of a storm in a teacup to me. And
yeah.
but the way I phrased my question might have looked like I thought it was a big deal, and I don't. I just don't get why aquarium companies do it. Just why call it UV? Because it's not. But I don't think it matters, because it's not like with Vibrant, they were allegedly saying that it was bacteria when in actual fact allegedly it was algicide. That is a big deal. This isn't.
That's a big deal to you.
I think
I don't care what's in it. Do you see what I mean? Like,
but the problem is, and this is the thing. So part of it, like, it did work for lots of people, but lots of other people as well. A significant portion had issues, and the issue is if they were told this is an algicide. If you told everyone this is an algicide, lots of people would still use it, guaranteed, because they'd be like, I'm taking that risk. But there would be a proportion of people who wouldn't have taken the risk.
Yeah.
And then when you tell them, oh, by the way, it's an algicide, that's when you're like, what the hell? So I've just lost all my clams and my corals, because I didn't know it. So that's what I think the difference is. It's not as big a deal because it does work. Actually, it does what it says on the tin. But
the only reason I have that opinion with regards to that is because I used it and it did work for me. So that's why I'm sort of like, if it works. Now, if I had lost a load of corals, then I'd be mad, just as you said. So, but it's hard to say, because if what did that say? I didn't see what it said.
Alex, your videos are good too, mate.
I prefer to say average, but soon to be exceptional. If they just do they even need to write on the bottle what it contained? Do you see what I mean? If it didn't say anything, if it didn't say bacteria or algicide, and you just used it and it worked,
I think, and this is from memory from a year ago when it came out on Reef to Reef. I think if it's an algicide, it's like a regulated ingredient. So I think it's a big, because like the Department for Environmental Health got involved or something in Minnesota. So I think I think it's actually a big deal, and you can get sued for it and all this sort of stuff. So I think you need to do it. It's not like you can just say, it does it. Don't ask what it is. But
okay. This is why I shouldn't talk about things I don't know about.
No, but anyway, but whatever. I just thought that was worth mentioning. Let me just see what people think about that as well. Oh, actually, one thing about manganese from last week. Oh, Sedders, you might have asked another question earlier, but manganese. So I've been dosing manganese on my main tank for about 3 or 4 months now, and for the first time in my life, I can keep gonnies because of it. I think it's because of it anyway. I dose 2 mil a day, and my gonnies, I bought probably 10 gonnies, and they all look absolutely amazing. So I've just started dosing today manganese on my second tank, and I'll be dosing manganese on that as well. But it's like a miracle for gonnies. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, UV is a marketing gimmick, people say. Radion Gen 6s have 395 UV for a fact. There you go.
Is it below 400, isn't it?
I think it's 400 or below.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Kessel have one of the best lights, and I've had most lights. Kessel are the best lights, but the blue, I think the blue sucks. The blue light sucks on Kessel. But yeah, so people don't really seem that bothered. Lots of people start talking about what lights do and don't have UV, but not people are that not a lot of people are that fussed. And we've not even had a comment as to whether or not whale sharks have UV. So
they don't.
It will come. CJ's in the house. He's back apparently. CJ, you're back. We're told. Welcome back.
Interesting. Someone must have told him that we mentioned him.
Yeah. Oh, that happened a couple of weeks ago or a month or so ago. Yeah, I can't remember. Oh, yeah, you got a message about it. We talked about it. I mentioned something on the stream that wasn't correct. And someone messaged the person I talked about to say, mate, he's talking about you.
Yeah.
And he got in touch with me and we had a chat, and it was all fine. So Plesiosaurus has UVs. We are half an hour in.
And
We have not started the topic.
right, let me just start because it's slowly going downhill.
I know, yeah. We'll go. And I will put a little... never mind. Right, so cleanup crew, Ryan. Basically today, we're going to be talking, and this is what I should have started the stream with. We're going to be talking about cleanup crew, basically, and just going through and talking about what cleanup crew we like, what cleanup crew we don't like, what we think they do, all that sort of stuff, basically.
Okay.
So I've got a list of invertebrates, and I'm going to bounce them off you and see what happens.
Good, because as I said, I've done no homework for this week, so
yeah. And just I am the best, actually, Steen. Yeah, thanks. That is a fact.
look at me here, like, just subconsciously nodding. Yeah, he's the best. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he's the LeBron James of Reef.
Oh, apparently someone wants to send you money.
Send me my. Does he want my bank details?
He does. I think he might be.
PayPal. What?
It says about donation.
Oh, right, a super chat. YouTube takes a big cut, but don't send me money by PayPal. Don't send me money by PayPal. If you would like to
PayPal if you want,
send it to Ryan instead. If you would like to make a super chat, please do. But yeah. And we will talk about emerald crabs. But first off, and pom-pom crabs, yeah, maybe. Right, snails. Ryan, number one.
Yes.
32 minutes. Firstly, I think what are your and my favourite type of cleanup crew.
Yeah, as in, snails will be number one probably on my list of cleanup crew. Yes, definitely, actually.
There we go. So they're joint top with me.
Well, not that interesting, but they wouldn't be the most interesting, but they're like number one in terms of like helpfulness.
Do you know? So have you ever kept a freshwater tank? I don't think you have, right?
I've had a Siamese fighter fish tank.
Right. Okay. So kind of, but so because with snails in a freshwater tank, they're a pain in the arse and they multiply like buggery.
Yes, that happened.
Yeah, exactly. And they just cover your tank, and then all the fish that eat them are like loaches, and they get like this big.
Yes, yeah.
But you buy them anyway. But in a reef tank, it's totally different, and they are boring. But they for a start, they never get to pest. I've never had snails get to pest status where there's billions of them because they kind of self-regulate, and if there's not enough food, they die off.
Yeah.
Which is bad, obviously. But yeah, I love snails. So what are your like? I've got my list of 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 and one that I'm not sure if it is a snail. Well, it's not, but I don't know what it is. But what are your top snails?
Well, turbo snails would be my like number one. That's like an obvious one. So I'm gonna go with turbos. Nasarius snails, I believe that's pronounced correctly.
Number 2.
Yeah, those are interesting because obviously they shoot up out of the sand, don't they, when you put food in? So those are the ones that I found most likely to be eaten by hermit crabs. If hermit crabs can eat anything, they kill those snails first, is what I found.
Right. I often find,
because they hide, so why would they? But that's what I've noticed. I think the one that might be the weird one, is it the
Stomatella?
That one. Is that the one that you said? Is that on your?
Not. That's not. It was an abalone, but an abalone isn't a snail. I've googled it. It's in its own genus. But Stomatella, you never buy. It's cleanup crew. You free hitchhikers, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. But they're still cool.
They're really cool.
Whenever they come in on corals, which you get them pretty regularly. I don't know why you can't get them in a shop. Yeah. Think about it, you get all sorts of weird and random stuff. Why is no one collecting those?
I guess they're quite small, but I'd pay for them because they're wicked.
Yeah. So every time I see one on the when I take the corals and dip and everything, I throw it in the tank. So I've probably got hundreds in there.
There you go. But they're great. Stomatellas are wicked. They're fast as well. You seen how speedy they move across the glass? They're like,
yeah. I'm trying to think what the other ones are. I'm not very good with snails, apparently.
There's one more. Actually, no.
It's T. Trocus. Yeah, Trocus.
Oh, actually, Trocus isn't on my list, but that's the one I get most. So Trocus should have been on my list. So there's 2 more.
I don't know what the other 2 then.
I'll put you out of your misery because otherwise we're just gonna have silence for
like spine. You get ones with like spines on it, don't you? See, I recognise them, but I don't know what they're actually called.
One spines on a snail.
Yeah, have you not seen a spiny one? It's like a turbo snail with spines around it.
You're thinking of urchins?
No.
You're thinking of hedgehogs?
I'm going to find out what that snail.
So I'll tell you whilst you're googling this
Yeah.
mythical spiny snail that doesn't exist. I'll tell you the ones that I've got on there. So, Astrea snails aren't on my list, but the other ones that are on my list are Mexican turbo.
Astrea are the spiny ones.
Oh, are they? That's Astrea aren't spiny.
They are.
Snails, no.
There's long spikes on them.
Oh, I see. Yeah, not
These
really.
mythical Astreas that you just mentioned.
That's not. Nah, you're talking about. Right, I tell you what. Let's share the screen.
Yeah.
So everybody can call you a liar. Why does it keep doing that? How do I Astrea snails? There we go. Right, here we go. So you're talking about the one on the photo on the left, right?
Yeah. Well, the one go just to the right of it and then down.
This one.
As in, down. They're clearly spines.
And they're not spines, are they?
They're like
But
spines.
But that's what I picture as an Astrea snail. I never see them like that. They look like that when I see them.
I've got those ones.
Yeah. I'm not saying you haven't, but that's what I think of as an Astrea snail. But yeah, they're kind of spines.
Kind
They're
of.
pointy bits.
Kind of. Are we going to do a poll? Yeah, someone just said do a poll.
Do a poll. I will do a poll. Yeah, all right.
But you always lose these usually.
I know, every single bloody time.
Is this picture a picture of a spiny snail?
Spiny.
They're literally called spiny Astrea turbo snails.
Shut up, Ryan. Stop trying to influence people. I'm going to put this photo up so everybody can see that it is not spiny.
They're also called spiny turbo snails.
No, shh. Ask your community. Here we go. Oh no, there's a massive photo. Right, quick, get rid of that. Get rid of that.
What photo are you showing?
Sorry,
I didn't see what photo.
It was showing the wrong screen and it was showing the spiny ones. But they kind of are spiky. But when I think maybe they lose their spikes when they grow up a bit or whatever, or maybe it's the other way around because I've never seen them in a tank like with the spines. But yes, 65%. You bastards. Every time, guys. I've got to win sometimes, all right? Even I lost Margot Robbie like in a hotness contest versus like a bloody clownfish or something.
It was 50-50, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, fair enough. Okay. The conch was the other one.
Oh yeah, I didn't really. I know it is a snail, but I didn't associate because you could do also cowries as well.
Cowrie, money cowrie. Yeah. I've never had a cowrie.
Tiger cowries were like one of the best things I've ever had for eating hair algae ever.
Oh, really?
But they're like bulldozers, and I think they eat coral.
Yes. Oh, really? Interesting.
They're quite interesting because they at night they put out this like membrane that covers them.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, there's the membrane there. You see where it's all spiky. I'm pointing it on my screen as if you can see what I'm pointing at.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah. I can see it though.
Yeah, but those were the best things I've ever had for eating turf algae. Not turf algae, hair algae.
Because they're quite big though, aren't they? They're like golf ball size.
Yes, yeah. But money cowries are small. They don't eat coral, and they don't have the same algae eating ability, but they are quite interesting.
Money cowrie was. Oh yeah.
They're like little white ones.
Yeah, these bad boys.
Yeah.
Monetaria moneta. I've never had a money cowrie or a tiger cowrie, actually. But there we go. So basically on the list of snails, turbo, Mexican turbo, Astrea necerius, conch or conch is the correct pronunciation.
Yeah.
And the other one that I've already forgotten. But conches are wicked. They're funny as much as anything.
Yes, yeah.
They're quirky, and because like snails don't have personality, do they? They're just blobs.
Yeah, but
it's not like hermits, but conches are funny. They're just like they've got these weird like elephant beaks and two little beady eyes on sticks.
Yeah. They also they sort of like pull themselves along, like that way, rather than just going flat. That's why,
like a drunk man or something. Like
I've got one in every one of the coral trays. I don't know why I got them. I just can't remember why I got one for every coral tray, but I just thought they were interesting. So
yeah, okay. So you haven't got sand in them, have you?
No, there's no.
Because they live in the sand. They bury themselves, don't they?
Do they? Don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, mine seems.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. Yeah. But yeah, they're conscious of wicked. So I don't. I have one in. Oh, and actually, do you know what? I did have one in my main tank, or 2 or 3, but I've just got shells now where they died. Excuse me. And I'm going to end the poll, by the way. 2/3 voted yes against me.
Yeah.
1/3. It's kind of true, but yeah. Well,
What we've noticed is that you just go against whatever I say. Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
You just go against it, and then
it must be wrong.
Yeah.
So I like having a bit of a variety, because I like the Nassarius snails because they go around in your sand bed and, in theory, stir it up a little bit. I'm not sure how effective they are at that, but it probably does something.
Yeah.
No, it's not like you've got a spotless sand bed if you've got a couple of Nassarius.
Yeah.
The turbos and the Trocus, they're just all over the place. They're wicked. The Mexican turbos are quite big, and I feel like if it's bigger, it's doing something different to the smaller ones. Yeah. But I find that they don't tend to live that long, Mexican turbos.
Have you ever seen the really, really big turbos when they're like this?
Yeah.
I mean, who when you see them in the shop, who is putting that in their tank? That's what I want to know, because that will just like bulldoze everything.
I did see. So the Ocean Project had one the other week, and I saw it in the flesh.
Yeah.
But like someone had one on Ultimate Reef a while ago, and it was massive. It was probably that big. Like it was huge, and I think it died relatively quickly. But it would bowl over your rocks, wouldn't it? Like
it would also pollute your tank when it dies.
Yeah, when it dies. Have you ever? Someone earlier said that snails smell when they die. Have you ever smelled a dead snail?
I think so. Yes, they're almost as bad as the dying Euphilia. I think Euphilia are the worst. Have you ever smelled a torch coral or anything where it's dying?
I don't think so. No.
It stinks. So, yeah.
Well, the excuse me. I had an urchin die not long ago. Excuse me, and that absolutely stank. It was disgusting. But I lifted one of my rocks out of the tank because I was doing a rescape, and as at the highest point when it's like 7 feet in the air, the urchin dropped off. Yeah. It smacked on the ladder at the bottom rung of my ladder. So
didn't make it after that.
No, unsurprisingly not. But
they're a delicacy. Did you scoop it out?
Delicacy.
Yeah, they are a delicacy somewhere.
Okay, otters eat urchins. The black long spine urchins.
They're a delicacy as well. Otters.
Yeah, I'd love to eat an otter actually, but they're too cute. So, but anyway, so snails. So that's basically I love snails, and I choose snails over hermits for the most. I've got a couple of hermits, to be fair, but you don't like hermits. We'll come on to hermits next. Oh, actually, no. Do you know what? First off, the other thing, and this isn't a snail, but it's kind of a snail. It's not really a snail, but abalone.
Never had one.
This is my first ever one.
What is it like from above?
Just kind of a bit hairy.
Let me Google it. How do you spell that?
Abalone. But they get quite big, but they're just quirky. I think they're quite cool. You might have seen people buy abalone shells because they're like silk coloured.
Oh yeah, I know what they are. Yeah,
not silk coloured.
You don't see them that often.
Oh, they're a delicacy as well. That's hilarious. No, you don't. But yeah, they're funny things. But it's massive. It looks like a flatworm as well. Only like a fat flatworm.
What made you buy it out of interest?
Because it was cool. Actually, so I never heard of it. I don't know. I saw it on the Reef Builders. Jake Adams did a video about it ages ago.
Yeah.
Or like 6 months ago, or whatever. And I was like, they're cool. But I'd never paid any attention. And then Ocean Project had one in, and I was like, I'll have him. So
what makes them cool?
They're just because it's different.
I just wondered if it did something amazing, which is why, but to me, just as like
with all of these snails and snail type things, an abalone has got the same kind of mouth as a snail that does that against the glass. It's not like it's keeping your glass clean. They just leave little mouth prints all over the glass.
Yeah.
But they're hoovering up some biofilm, algae, probably various things. But they're just like you've said before, as many different mouths as you can get is good. So that's basically it. So if something's not going to hurt my my other inhabitants, fish, corals, inverts, and it's going to do good, it's going in my tank.
Yeah, no, I understand. And so I like diversity as well. Just anything that's a bit different or weird. Why not?
Yeah, it's why women like you, Ryan.
I was good. That's why you're my friend.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, by the way, if you're a member of YouTube, of my YouTube channel, I think you might be able to use new emojis now. I've added 2.
Lucky.
I know, best thing ever. Right? I've added 2. I'm going to be adding more. So have a look and see if you can see if they're there and if it's worked, you'll know it when you click on it. Pistol shrimp love to eat abalone. No, I don't believe that. Pistol shrimp. Have you seen the size of a pistol shrimp's mouth? I don't.
I know they're small, but it's one of those things. It's one of those things that it sounds like it could possibly be true, but I have no idea.
Well, I have a pistol shrimp, and he hasn't eaten it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they don't. But the slug of the sea, apart from sea slugs. But anyway, lots of people talking about different smells. Steen Pompey has asked a question. Do you guys? I bet Steen is Dutch. Steen Pompen. Anyway, do you guys think a tang could live in a reef for 170? Depends what tang. Not probably most tangs not long term. I have a water box 150 litre tank, which is probably actually the same size as a reefer 170, and it's got a Gold Rush tang, a Tomini tang, and he's fine. He's been in there for over a year. He's fine. And actually, I would happily have a lot of tangs in there short term, but I would draw the line at things like a Cantharus and that sort of stuff.
Oh,
and I would
they're coming.
And I would
sirens going.
I would move them on. The trouble is because if you get like a Zebrasoma, you'd need to move them on after maybe a year or so. They'd probably get quite aggressive, and I don't know. So what do you think? You're a tang expert, Ryan, aren't you?
I'm not the best person to ask because yeah, I would. You could, as far as I'm concerned, you can put a tang in as a smaller tank than that. It all just comes down to are you willing to move it on when it gets too big? Because you get like regal tangs which are like the size of a 50p coin, which will be fine in a Fluval Evo for a short period of time, but just don't have it in there for 5 years. So I have all sorts of tangs in all tanks I've had, and if they get too big, I move them on. So
you like big tanks, and you cannot lie. So
that is true. I do like big tanks, and I cannot lie.
The brothers can't deny. But yeah, there we go. So Sound of Blues and Twos, Tang Police. But yeah, so I would do it. I would have a coal tang, a bit spicy to be fair. Tomini tang I'd have. And I'd probably have short term a Zebrasoma if they were small, but I'd want to move them on.
I would get a Zebrasoma above the other ones. I don't know why. Because you can use them really small.
The trouble with Tomini tangs is it's good to have. Tomini tang is good to have, but they just do that at the mine does that at the glass and the rock all day long.
Yeah.
And if there's any long algae in there, he's not interested.
Yeah.
So and which is great. So that's great that you have a tang that does that. But I like the tangs that do a bit more munching, like the Zebrasomas and that.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Because my coal tank's the same all day long, just doing that tiny little bits of.
I just think they're a bit boring. Like if you,
the Tomini tang is dull. Yeah, I'm with you.
If you're willing to put a tang in there, and you can usually get small Zebrasoma tangs, and I just think if you're going to have one, if you're going to break the rules, you might as well have one you want rather than one you don't want.
If you're going to do something wrong, do it right.
Yeah, do it wrong rightly.
Yeah, but there you go. But I would be looking to move it on. I actually did buy for my 150 litre tank. I bought a Scopas tank, but it died. The plan was to move it along.
You like brown fish, don't you? Because Scopas tanks are brown.
Oh no, I hate brown fish. They're boring as hell, but it was cheap and it's a Zebrasoma. So.
I suppose.
And this was my tank was a frag tank for ages. Still is. I'm changing it soon, but so I don't care. It's just I don't care what the fish look like, but I do now.
Someone
But
in the
anyway,
chat said, "Would I ever breed and sell inverts?" Depends on what you think I can breed, because I don't think they're that easy. Obviously, the snails breed all the time, and they, as Alex said earlier, they sort of self-regulate. But I know some people do breed. I think cleaner shrimp and peppermint shrimp have been bred in captivity, but it's not something that I know how to do. And it was like a big proper place for breeding clownfish and stuff that was being done at.
yeah, I feel like the margin would be small on inverts. Like you'd have to put in a lot of effort for not a lot of money. Because how much is a snail? A couple of quid. So
It's not just that. I think of the batch of peppermint shrimp, I think they raised like 15. So they're very expensive peppermint shrimp if you've got to cover the cost of all the workers and everything.
yeah, very true. We'll come back onto peppermint shrimp when we do shrimp later. And I'm just liking your post on Instagram. Look at the size of that Monty.
Oh yeah,
That's worth sharing.
that's I'm talking to you. You're busy looking at my stuff on Instagram or looking at other people's stuff on Instagram.
Well, you said something about a peppermint shrimp, and I was like, I've got a video about that, but I'll come back onto that. But anyway, talk about your Monty.
That is a green Montipora. And
was that like 1 inch fag before you went away?
Yeah. It grows. In fact, all of the Montes has absolutely exploded while I was away. I'm not even sure what it is. Every single time I go away, the corals grow out of control. Now, to some extent, that probably is because I'm not fragging them.
Is it because you're a terrible reefer? And they
when
like,
I go
oh
away,
God, Ryan's gone. Quick, grow before he ruins it.
I have no idea what it is, but almost always, I think that I try and keep the tanks too clean, because people don't change the phosphate remove when I'm gone. They don't clean the protein skimmers, and I just let people. I just do the water changes, and then I'll deal with the rest basically when I get back. It's only a month, and I think the tanks actually like being a bit dirtier. So
interesting. Yeah, okay. Well, my tanks are dirty.
Yeah, see, I've always wondered about yours because Jamie. Let's see, Jamie's Reef say that would look nice in my tank. Yes, it's every so often.
Corals, and he cannot lie.
Every so often when I get annoyed with a coral take up too much real estate, Jamie takes it. Okay. So that would look good in your tank, Jamie. Come buy
it. You said you've always wondered about my nutrients.
I've always wondered it because your tank is look. You're better than most people at keeping Acropora. I knew you were going to do that stupid face. For everyone who listens to this and isn't watching it, Alex just did a stupid face. Because a lot of people say to me, "Oh, I don't watch it, but I listen to it when I'm driving or something the next day." So
I get requests to do this as a podcast on Spotify all the time, and maybe now I'm doing a video every 2 weeks. I will. Who knows?
Oh, another promise. There's all these promises.
I know. Over promise and under deliver. That's the way. Yeah. Anyway, you were saying.
Not expect anything from me anymore. So
you were just saying how good I am at keeping.
Oh, sorry. Yes, yeah. Some people would say you were exceptional. Not me. I wouldn't say you were exceptional, but some people would say you were. And I just wonder because your nutrients aren't under control. I think usually your phosphate's out of control.
Whoa.
Out of control, your phosphate. So what makes your tank different to everyone else's?
I've wondered the exact same thing, to be honest, because I like although my tank, the SPS in my tank do look very nice generally.
Yeah.
If I were to start, well, in fact, I've got another tank here that's been running for over a year, and the SPS they're doing fine, but the Acropora aren't doing great. It's just a frag tank, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't really understand why my tank is doing well. Like if you said to me, right, how do I recreate your tank?
Yeah.
I'd say, well, I can tell you what I do, and I can tell you what my levels are, but I can't tell you why that equals success with SPS, because particularly my phosphate has been sat around the 0.3 to 0.4 mark for years. And that makes no sense. That equals brown acros. So
that's what I was wondering. Every new piece. So the piece, I know you don't really buy pieces that come from the ocean, but that's come from very different water to your tank.
Yeah.
And
so maybe that's one thing, because I don't ever buy. I saw a load of Australian acros today in my local fish shop, and they looked nice, but they were like on the white side of color, so you could tell they were stressed.
Yeah.
and I knew if I bought them, it would die. So I never buy wild SPS because it's a terrible idea. So maybe it's the fact that, but maybe part of it is that I only buy from fellow hobbyists or the UK's leading coral farm, reef.co.uk.
So what you're saying is it's not actually your own expertise. It's basically the people who, like myself,
It's you, Ryan.
sell the coral to you, give such good specimens that they don't die when you put them in your tank.
Yeah, but it's in spite of me, basically.
Yes, yes. Because as you know, I'm obviously going to be doing an angelfish tank, and I think one of the things that will be able to survive in there is SPS, in theory. I don't think it won't totally destroy an SPS colony. I assume, like it would a
fleshy, yeah.
Yes. So it might peck here and there, but I don't think it's going to be an absolutely decimate it.
Lots of people report with angels in SPS report you never see polyps because they peck during the day and then they come out at night. So
yeah, I wonder if that I mean that would make sense because I have seen other people have angelfish in reef tanks. It's unusual for people to have very large angelfish in reef tanks. Even Jamie's Coral Reef, he has a regal angel, which has been fine, and all of a sudden decided to kill one of his trackies and one of his hammers just randomly. So he's got a massive tank big enough to get into with a wetsuit full of coral, and he's now got a fish which may or may not go rogue.
How can you catch that?
And I'm encouraging him to get a blue face.
Well, my mate from Polo Reef.
Oh yes,
he's got angels in his. Oh, he's just texted me actually. Oh no, that's my mum. Sorry.
Yeah.
But he's got angels in his tank, and he said that they eat basically they even eat chalice, which I was slightly surprised at. They eat anything LPS, but they don't tend to bother his SPS. But then he's got like 1 billion gallons of water. So
well, that's why you don't see in a normal standard tank a large angelfish usually with other corals. Usually. There'll probably be 1,000 times more people who've tried it and failed than who've tried it and had success. So I'm going to try it and fail until I succeed is my plan. But I don't really want an all SPS tank again. So we'll see. We'll see.
That's a shame. But anyway, so actually, when I said earlier that I don't know why my tank does well. That's not quite true. But it's not. It just doesn't make perfect sense. Like normally, you would think very low nutrients. That's the only thing that's different, really.
Yeah.
Because I've got a shed load of light, a big blanket covering the entire tank. I've got a ton of flow. It's established. I don't have fish that eat things that they shouldn't eat and all that. I feed quite a lot.
I actually think it's your lighting, which is what makes the difference. I personally think if you've got very high nutrients and you have very high lighting, maybe that's balancing it out.
High energy reef is what people talk about. So I think the flow as well, because I've got 4 MP40s on a 4-foot tank. So
yeah.
But I've got a quick jump in. So BN3 Reefing, super chat, £4.49. Thank you very much, very kind of you. And he's been a member for 5 months. Very good going. Love the show when I'm not working. Police. Oh, he's a cop. It's a filth.
I know him.
I mentioned this before.
Yes, this is what I'm saying. Stop giving Alex your money and come and spend that money on coral here.
You work so well together. Well, thank you. Very kind of you. Police. I wanted to be so I didn't go into it in the end, but for years until I went to uni, basically, I wanted to be a policeman.
I can imagine you being a policeman.
But if I was, I'd be a terrible policeman, and I can't think of anything worse now because when I see the programs of like a police camera action and that. The amount of stick people get, the coppers get from members of the public, I can't
people
believe
like
people. Not people like me. I've been pulled over a couple of times.
Have you?
An absolute, I've not done anything, but like I got pulled over for almost running a red light. It was like midnight, and they were like, "Look, just don't worry about it. Just watch out." But I'm an absolute angel because I'm terrified. But and I got breathalyzed once, and I hadn't been drinking, but I had mates in the back of the car like doing this, so it was fair enough. But I'd like when you watch. Go on.
I was going to say I have also had 2 interactions with the police. Once I was
Oh,
pulled
really?
out and breathalyzed driving a golf buggy. That is actually true.
Okay.
I had a drink, but not at that time. If you see what as in, so I'd had a drink earlier in the day, and then I didn't have I wasn't drunk driving a golf buggy. So, but even though I knew that I hadn't had a drink for like 8 hours and I'd only had one drink, it still panics you.
I was the same. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's and the other time was I was in a car park and the windows were all steamed up in my car, and a policeman came over and knocked on the window, and he went, "What are you up to?" And I was I was on the phone, but he thought two people were having sex in my car. If that's what you thought and you came over to watch, you're a pervert. But that is actually true.
Well, there you go. So Ryan got caught dogging once, and there we go. But what I was going to say is just like when you see the programs of the police interacting, and the police are so calm and level-headed.
Yeah.
When you've got the biggest idiot in the world having a pop at you, and it's like, mate, shut up. So I've got so much respect for that, because I could not do that. I'll just lose my shit.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I can see that actually.
Yeah, I just get wound up.
I mean, if you get annoyed about someone writing UV on some box,
I know, yeah, exactly.
Then you can't handle these people.
No, but there we go. Always had high phosphates and aquaporin. Have always done well. Yeah, actually, you said earlier that you think that it's a myth with and when it is, it's I don't know if it's a myth. I think it's so many people have success with that's a good way of doing it. But I think the myth is that you don't have to have low phosphates, which is probably what you're saying, Andy. It's not essential. You can do it without that. But anyway, have I missed member questions? Oh, for heaven's sake, Ryan, you distracted me. I told you not to. We started talking about the UV rubbish when I started looking at that. No, you haven't, Tom.
That definitely wasn't me. I didn't even know about the UV stuff.
Yeah, it was your fault. It didn't happen last week when you weren't here.
That's true. It didn't happen last week.
Yeah, it's my fault completely. No, you've not misremembered questions. I almost did it, and I've got bad memory.
We waited for you, Tom. Well, you weren't here.
That's it. I was waiting for you. Yeah. So Tom Bish Bosch is his name on the questions funnel. He asks, where is a good place to buy livestock online in the UK? Fish and critters, or either. Edit, looking for somewhere which doesn't just ship the animals straight out after getting them back in stock. Basically, somewhere reliable and trustworthy. Do you know anywhere that sells livestock online, Ryan?
Well, if it's for fish, then I haven't actually ever bought fish online myself, so I don't know.
No.
I know. I think one shop that I know of does it. I don't know how successful.
Just gonna open my window.
Okay. Why? What have you done? You need to open a window.
It's getting hot. Shut up.
I think Abyss up north does it.
That's who I was going to say.
Yeah, I don't know how often they do it. I don't know how successful it is, because when you ship stuff, sometimes you lose stuff. Even when shops get fish shipped to them, sometimes they lose it. So I don't know how. But someone just said they're great for online orders in the comment section.
So I visited Abyss, and it was to do that purple yellow tag, and they paid me to make that video, paid me money. Yeah. So take this with a pinch of salt if you want. But I was doing a video about the purple tag, not about the shop. I was really impressed with the shop, especially the fish. The corals were all right, but fish, they had this enormous warehouse, and they've got this whole section out back where they settle them. And like the owner, she cares about fish, really cares. And I was really impressed. So I would never order a fish online.
Yeah,
I want to see it in the flesh. I want to make sure it's the right size, it's the right color. I want to make sure that it's feeding, that it's not too thin, that it hasn't got lymphocystis or whatever, that it looks healthy. But if I were to buy, I would buy from Abyss. I don't know anywhere else that does it, but I would recommend Abyss, even though I've never used them to buy online. So,
well, I haven't been paid by anyone.
Yeah.
The video for them, and I have also been to Abyss, and I was also very impressed. So, but like you, there's something I feel like it's weird because, as I said, I know the fish come in little bags and it's exactly the same. I feel like when they come from the shippers where they're collected, they almost, I don't know what it is. It just feels more.
That's a good point. It's different, isn't it? I don't know why it shouldn't be different, but it is.
Well, I suppose there's a lot more risk involved for the shippers who ship. You've got to do it right. If the fish are in the boxes for 2 days, because that's probably the minimum amount of time they're in there, after they've obviously gone through customs and everything, then you've got to do it properly. Whereas, would I trust a fish shop? I don't know. It's weird, but it's exactly the same thing. It's like people when they buy coral from me. A lot of people will email me going, "I've never bought coral before. Is this definitely okay?" And I'm like, "Well, the coral that you got in the shop came in the same process.
Did it come from Dorset?
Yeah.
English Channel. It's funny because I never think about that. But anyway, I just went for dinner with the spiny snail disagreement started. Okay, but yeah, there we go. So the only place I think there's a website called Masterfish, SCH. I think they sell.
I think it's in Europe.
It's a .co.uk. I've not looked at it for years, so maybe this was they shipped to England before Brexit. I don't know, but I never used them, and I just don't like the idea of buying fish online. But the only place I know that does it, I'm sure there are others. The only place I know is Abyss.
Yeah.
So, and they were good. They were very good, and all their fish were healthy and all that. So that is my answer. Inverts. Seller Marine. I know sell inverts. They get a lot of love. But anyway, can you have Tyler Evans 2691 asks, can you have only 1 or 2 ornamental invertebrates, e.g. fire shrimp, a short spine urchin, and no other cleanup crew in a 34-gallon, 130 litre? Well, we'll come on now. This is a nice segue, and I'll come on to the next question from Shamila Butters in a second. We'll come on to decorative inverts now, because I personally think decorative inverts are a complete and utter waste of space.
What?
But I still love them.
Oh.
So cleaner shrimp, for example.
Yeah.
Any shrimp basically is a pain in the ass, because if you ever want to feed your corals, forget it.
Yeah.
They just they creep up, and it's like, even I get my fingers in the tank and I'm flicking them away. You basically got to, if you want to feed your corals pellet food or like meaty food, you've got to cover the corals. So it's a pain in the backside.
Have you got shrimp?
I have apart from that tank, I have cleaner shrimp in every tank.
Okay.
And actually in that tank I have a peppermint shrimp.
Let me get Aptasia in that tank at one point, I assume.
Correct. And so actually he was in the other tank to my left now, and he cleared the Aptasia out there. There's one that's come back since I've taken him out. And then one night I caught him and put him in this tank because I had an Aptasia. I caught him eating the Aptasia. I videoed it. So he did eat it for sure. And then, I bought a torch coral off you a while ago. He ate that.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. And everyone was like, "Oh, mate, that was painful watching that."
Well, do you film it? Did you film him eating it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is right. I'm a YouTuber, mate. I need to show stuff.
That's true.
Let me see. Hang on. Add to stream. There we go. There he goes. Look at him. And they proper go for it. They proper slice the torch coral up.
He's going for it, isn't he?
Yeah, he was. And funnily enough, the other head that he's not touching now, when I first put that torch in, he was going for the other head, and then he left it. I was like, thank God. But he battered that head. Look at him. They proper slice it. They must have really sharp legs. You don't think it, but it was like there was just torch going everywhere. It was like confetti.
Well, if you ever want any more peppermint shrimp food, you let me know. I got another for you. Nice double head dragon cell. So
that was a dragon cell, yeah. But to be fair, that's faded a while ago. So I didn't care. And I put it in that tank because I didn't really care about it, and it had faded massively over the last couple of months anyway. So I wasn't really bothered. But they if you ever wondered if peppermint shrimp do eat corals, I've never had it before, but that is it can happen. And with peppermint shrimp, there are different types of shrimp that are all different species, but they look very, very similar.
Yeah.
So I don't know which one I had. I know it ate Aptasia, so I presume it's Lipromosa verdmani or something. I can't remember what it's called, something like that. I know it ate Aptasia. I saw it with my own eyes.
Yeah.
But does that mean that that only certain peppermint shrimp eat Aptasia and those ones also eat corals? Or I suspect they're all a risk.
There is one invert and while we're on top of shrimp, which I just don't get, and that is camel shrimp, because camel shrimp do eat corals, which means you can't go in a reef tank and you can't put them in a fish only tank because unless it's a very specific fish only tank. Because normally, if you've got a fish only tank, you have triggerfish and pufferfish and lionfish. So people like this is for the industry, the whole industry. Stop collecting camel shrimp because they can't go in any tank. I just wonder why is these.
Because they look, I think beginners probably are. Because I didn't buy one of these when I was a beginner, but I very nearly did because they look cool, and they kind of do. All shrimp do this, really. Peppermint shrimp do this when they're hanging in the caves, but they do this more than others. They dance around a bit more.
Yeah.
So they are cool. But I would never have one, and I just think that because it's like you say, it's not like with clean shrimp will not eat your corals at all. Yeah. And if a clean shrimp is eating your coral, that means that it was dead or whatever. Camel shrimp will. There are so many people. If you ask anybody who's had one, he's like, yeah, it ate my children, it ate my pets. You know. It eats everything. So they're a nightmare, but they do look cool. So I think that's why they get bought.
So can you think of any tank that can go in?
The selling tank at your local fish shop.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, as far as I'm concerned, I think everyone should buy them because then it's eating all their coral and they can buy more. But
exactly, yeah.
I almost wonder if that's why the shops do it.
No, it's just because people must buy them because it's the sort of thing as well. If you hadn't done your research, and we've all been there, I've certainly been there. If you haven't done your research and you go in the shop and you're like, oh, that's cool, I'll buy that, 16 quid, wicked. And then you buy it, and then you've got it, and you should Google it, but you're like, it's a shrimp. Yeah, what's it going to do?
Apparently, apparently, the opinionated users just said they don't eat SPS.
Oh, I wouldn't expect them to eat SPS, to be fair, but anything LPS and maybe even sours, I don't know. But yeah, so maybe that's SPS tank for your angel tank.
Yeah, I might put it in there. I said it's going to be that can't be kept, because the other thing I wanted to have one big angel, and look, I'm not going to do this, but I had this weird idea of 3 Addis butterflies. You know, the little gold ones with the blue teardrop.
The Reef Dork butterfly, yeah.
Yes, sorry, the Reef Dork butterfly. That's now. It's officially scientifically named as the Reef Dork.
Oh, Reefus Dorcus butterfly, or something.
Honestly, I've just realised that the Reef Dork butterfly hardly even looks like the actual butterfly.
It's got a black eye for a start, not blue.
Yeah.
So, but anyway,
yes,
you want 3 of them.
I thought, I'm just thinking, I'm going over the top basically, but because I want a big angel, a small angel, and a butterfly. But I just think it's probably going to end up being hard enough with just one angel.
Maybe, but just see how you get on. Butterflies are so cool. I would sacrifice my entire family for a butterfly tank.
I just want
if they didn't eat corals.
I want a tank that's different to anything I've ever had, and I've never been able to have a butterfly. And I've got an unlimited amount, not unlimited, but I've got plenty of tanks that I've got coral in them. So this one should be not coral, really, is the plan.
For me, can you get a threadfin butterfly and a Riga butterfly?
No.
Oh, Ryan.
No. I only want. I'm just confirming which one the threadfin is. I think I know what it is, but yeah, they're not that exciting.
They're not exciting. Oh, mate.
In yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Addis butterfly.
Yeah. That is cool. Oh, wrought iron would be cool.
They're a bit. Again, they're just grey. I think people like them because they're expensive, but they're just grey.
Maybe because they're rare. I think I've only ever seen a couple in the flesh.
Yeah, I've seen one, I think, but I think I'm sure they cost hundreds.
Sorry,
they cost hundreds. I'm sure.
The one I saw was it was north of 1,000. I can't remember how much it was.
So
It might be
more than
3,000. It was expensive.
Yeah.
But I'm going to answer Tyler Evans' questions because we kind of danced around it. Can you only have 1 or 2 ornamental inverts, such as fire shrimp, a short spine urchin, and no other cleanup crew? Not really. In a 130-litre tank. I mean, because basically all you've got is cleanup. Shrimp do a job because they go and scavenge bits of food that is uneaten.
Yeah.
But they're not really like cleaner shrimp aren't really cleanup crew. They don't. If you're expecting it to keep parasites at bay, forget it.
Okay, I'm gonna throw something out there. Do you have to have cleanup crew at all? Okay.
I've never seen a tank without one, but it's a fair question.
Well, what about predator tanks? They don't have cleanup crew.
Yeah, but they don't grow corals, so they don't need to worry about dirty tanks.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I just wondered if you could do it without any at all.
The thing is that I often see people in the kind of early stages of a tank, of their first tank in the first year or whatever. They'll ask questions like that, which is a fair question. Can you have a tank without cleanup crew? Why not? But if you're trying something that nobody else does, the chances are it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
So that is a fair question, but the answer is almost certainly no. I've never tried it, so I can't tell you. But
you're like, that is a fair question, Ryan, but you are an idiot.
Basically, what I'm saying. So Tyler Evans, I would not do that personally. Just chuck a load of snails.
The more the better. Like the more little things crawling around, it's more interesting. Why would you limit yourself to an urchin, which are like the worst cleanup crew? Not in terms of algae eating, just in terms of being dickheads, and shrimp, which don't really do an awful lot.
Well, we'll come on to that then. But there's one last question then, and we'll go back on. We'll finish off shrimp, and then we'll go on to urchins and that. And this one is from Shamila Butters. In a 400-litre tank, we have a conch, a cleaner shrimp, a pistol shrimp, Randall's goby, 4 or 5 Mexican turbo snails. What else from the yellow, apart from the yellow purple tail and a fox face? I mean, I'd have a ton of trochus snails, Blackfoot trochus snails in there. 400-litre tank, I'd get 20 and just throw them in. They'll breed and then they'll spread more. I'd have an urchin as well. I know you wouldn't.
I guess starfish. I like serpent starfish. I think they're interesting.
I was going to say brittle stars.
Yes, yeah. Also brittle or serpents. Yeah, but they
isn't a serpent star a brittle star?
I think brittle ones are the ones that aren't smooth, and the serpent ones are the smooth ones. I think that's how I've always assumed they are, but I don't know if that's correct or not.
Because basically they're skinny is what I think of a brittle star. So hang on. I've googled serpent star and it comes up with brittle star. So these sorts of things. That is, to me, that's a brittle star. Is that what you think of as a serpent star? It's called a serpent star. Yeah,
I call that a serpent, and the brittle are the ones on the left where they're all spiky.
The tiny little ones. Okay, so we're both talking about basically any of these. I have one of these.
Yeah.
I see him once every 2 years, and it's a treat.
That's why I love having things like that. A lot of people, I have a big red starfish, and a lot of people think it's an octopus because they see its little arms coming out.
Funny.
So many people come in and go, "Oh, you've got an octopus." I'm like, no.
No, I wouldn't have any fish. Is that a fromia or a red?
No, it is actually a red serpent starfish. Fremias are the small ones. The red ones are really expensive. I think it cost me about, it was either 90 or £100 for a starfish. Is a lot of money.
Yeah,
but
you've got to be careful with stars though, with brittle stars and serpents, because some of them, I think it's like there's a green one or a brown one, a green one that
the green one, yeah,
will eat your fish. Yeah,
yes. Yeah.
So it was making me nervous.
And yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So, but this is the thing. So ultimately, the answer with this stream really is one of everything, or a few of everything. So in terms of if you're just looking for some ornamental inverts like fire shrimp, they're not going to do much. An urchin, wicked, and no other cleanup crew. I mean, if you can find me someone with an awesome tank who has just an urchin, no other cleanup crew, crack on. But I'm not going to hold my breath. Because basically, cleanup crew is important.
The only reason I'd have urchins is if I had a serious algae problem. That's the only reason. You throw in 5 urchins, they'll clean it up in a week, and then everything else can keep on top of it after that once you take the urchins out. assuming your not nutrients aren't out of control.
But you live, you have a coral farm, so if they move frags around, it's a pain in the backside for you. With me, mine I tend to wear my zoas because I rip zoas off the frag plugs, but I don't really care because I've got loads of them. If I have lost it, I have had a zoa go on the back of one of my urchins. It was like a 50 quid polyp, and a single polyp, and it nicked it, and I was like, oh no, and I couldn't reach it, and then the next day it had gone. So, so they are a pain in the backside for that, but they're just. Every tank should have an urchin, in my opinion.
Oh no! I like to be able to put my hand in my tank and know that I'm not going to be jabbed by something.
Do you know how many times I've been jabbed by my urchins? All of them across 8 years.
I'm going to say 0.
Correct. And even actually, when you pull them out, it's not like you grab them and they pierce your fingers.
No.
Although I don't have the long spine urchins. I have the blue tuxedos. Always have.
Those ones will be even worse, those long spine urchins, because they're just so big.
Yeah, I saw a little one like this not that long ago, and I was like, oh, I'd love that, but they get big.
Yeah.
So, but okay, so there we go. So that's the answer. And yeah, so that. And the other one was in a 400 litre tank. We have a conch, a cleaner shrimp, pistol shrimp, Randall's goby, 4 or 5 Mexican snails. What else? A load. Just I like scarlet hermits of the hermits. Because they're less aggressive. In fact, we'll come back onto that because we'll come back onto that, Shamila. But we'll finish off shrimp first. So the other shrimp that I would never have is a box shrimp.
Yep. I understand.
Want one,
yeah.
But supposedly, and this is like internet law, and I think there's so many people that report it's true. Supposedly they're aggressive to other shrimp, but they do look cool.
It's either boxing shrimp or arrow crabs. One of them has a particular hatred towards cleaner shrimp.
Boxing shrimp, I think.
Is that? I wasn't sure. One of them does.
That's my understanding. And this is the boxing shrimp, which is a cool looking fish. Oh, bloody cookies! That's a fish. Not a fish.
Can we do a poll? Is this a fish, people?
It is not a fish. I can admit that. That's a cool looking shrimp. But yeah, they're supposedly they're aggressive. I've read so many people say they're aggressive that it's like just I don't want it. Yeah. And cleaner shrimp are peaceful. Full stop.
Yeah, same, and blood shrimp as well are also a good choice.
The fire shrimp, I've never had one.
Yeah, but they're the same as cleaners. They just sort of just hang around.
These guys, I've heard they can be aggressive.
No. Well, not that I've ever heard. They're literally, as far as I'm concerned, they're literally exactly the same as the cleaner shrimp. Oh, that's the other one. Sexy shrimp. They're cool. I like sexy shrimp a lot, but the problem is they're so small and they often get eaten.
Yeah, so I would never put one in my main tank because they're so tiny.
Yeah,
but I did have a couple in my little frag tank, and all I've got in there is a couple of small damsels and a small tang. So I don't think they would have eaten them, but they could have done. But they are snack size.
Yeah. Oh, did they get eaten then? Are they gone?
They've disappeared. I don't know what happened to them. It might just be that they died of natural causes, but more likely they got.
Yeah.
But they're very cool, and I would like in the Fluval Evo. I'd like them. I don't know if my clowns can be trusted. Probably can, but I don't know because they're not really hunters clowns, are they? But anyway, but yeah. So and those are all the shrimp. Peppermint shrimp was the only other thing really. They for Aptasia they do work, but sometimes they don't. I bought peppermint shrimp in the past, and they haven't worked. And it's like, can you just eat the bloody Aptasia, please? And I've bought them other times when they've eaten a load of them, and then they leave a patch. And I don't know if it's because they're like, oh, I've had too many Aptasia, and I can't have a single one more, or if they want to farm them, so they've always got food.
It'd be interesting if that was what was happening, but I doubt it is. I know some fish
probably not that advanced, are they?
Yeah, some fish do that though. They cultivate algae. Some damselfish cultivate algae, so they've always got some to eat. It was on some David Attenborough, one of the ones.
Yeah, okay, he was so good. But so they're probably not that sophisticated. But whatever it is, I've seen them mow through a load of apps and then they leave a patch, and it's like, and it's not like it's just the big ones or just the small ones. It's a mishmash. So they do my nutting. And this is so Peps only eat small ones. I've seen them eat big ones. So, but anyway, but yeah. So I think that's all the shrimp I wanted to talk about. Any other shrimp that we haven't mentioned that you can think of?
Boxing, blood, cleaner. and the sexy and peppermint shrimp. As far as I'm concerned, that's it.
I think we're done.
Yeah.
So let's go before we move on to ermets and crabs. Paul says, "Hi Alex, I need some more zoas, mate. One of the frags I bought did very well. I presume he's bought some off me. One not so well. Got lots of free Asterinas, definitely. Tetra is being upgraded to Reefer 250. Ryan, do you do beginner coral boxes? Ryan, we've got a sales question.
Yeah. Basically, I try and accommodate everyone. So someone the other day said they wanted a fist-size piece of Hystrix. Now, I wasn't able to give him that, but I showed him all the other pieces I could give him a fist-size piece of.
What was his name?
Why, did he ask you for a fist-size piece of Hystrix?
I sold one. Someone who was looking for that, yeah.
What was his name?
Can't remember. It doesn't matter.
2 days ago.
Maybe. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
You steal all my customers.
Yeah, I did. I was like, don't go to Ryan. Yeah, all his corals are diseased. Yeah, you don't want them.
Anyway, back to what I was saying. I try to accommodate everyone. So if someone wants a beginner box, I can sort your beginner box. Someone wants all Zoas, I can sort that. Even if it's not on the website, if you see something in one of my videos and you want it, I'll usually sell it to you. So I try my best, basically, to keep everyone happy.
Okay, fair enough. What about Harlequin shrimp?
He was called Joe. He was called Joe. I've just found him.
Yes. Yeah.
You so
Yes.
well.
And I probably sold it cheaper than yours, so I undercut you.
Yeah, but he literally contacted me 2 days ago.
He was looking for loads of Hystrix colonies. He said it was really hard to find colonies. Anyway, we'll move on.
Oh, anyway, sorry.
I sold him a Ceratopora caliendrum, the nice one. Fancy.
Wow.
Anyway, what about Harlequin shrimp? Harlequin shrimp are a terrible idea.
Yes.
Would you agree? Good.
Yes.
Glad you said that. Because they'll die. Because they'll eat your Asterina starfish and then they'll die. They'll starve to death.
Yeah.
And I've said this so many times before. When you're watching them, because I've had them, I would never buy them again. When they run out of food, they sit still, stationary. They don't move, basically, sway side to side gently. That's it. And it's heartbreaking watching them, knowing that they're just like trying. It feels like they're trying to conserve energy. Maybe that's not what's happening, but it's that they're a terrible invert, and I think we should stop importing them. I think I've told you this before. In Australia, when I was there in a shop, they had a pair of them, and they were $1,000 because Australia, I think there's only very certain things you're allowed to have, and it's one of those things where you can't get from Australia, so they're not allowed. You can't collect them. So somehow someone's got them. Apparently, they floated in on a piece of driftwood or something. Yeah.
But yeah, there was a pair of them, and they were $1,000. It's one of the first videos I did. Might have actually been the first video I did.
Well, that's the price they should be, because then no one would buy them.
And if you were, if you pay $1,000, you're going to be feeding it its appropriate food source.
Exactly, you'd be buying starfish for it. But they eat crown of thorns starfish in the wild, and crown of thorns starfish decimate coral reefs to the point that many people say they are potentially worse for coral reefs than global warming. So do not buy. Are you about to say global warming doesn't exist or something?
No, I was going to say, or you, but
or me, yeah.
I said against you. A minute ago, I was saying how good you were.
Yeah, I know. We'll go with that. But yeah, so don't buy Harlequin shrimp. And pistol shrimp are wicked. Really, yes. I would have a pistol shrimp on its own without a fish.
Oh yeah, pistol shrimp. That's true. Yeah, we missed that one.
Yeah. In fact, I did have a pistol shrimp in this tank because my goby died. I've now replaced the goby and it's doing well. But the pistol shrimp was fine on its own. He was having a whale of a time. He was out all day, moving sand around. He was brilliant.
That's the problem. They move sand around everywhere.
Yeah, but they're cool. But then they stare at sand bed. I think they're wicked. I think they're really good. And I presume this is some kind of like 10-foot Pacific Ocean crab or something. But anyway, and loads of people talking about pistol shrimp. So what else are we going to do? Who's the other guy? Not Reef Dork. Who is the other guy? Wyatt? Who are you? Who are you?
Don't know. Doesn't it say my name on the screen? Wait, where is it?
Yeah, but what does that mean? Prestige Reef. I don't know. Who knows? Prestige Reef is so Ryan is the UK's largest YouTuber at the moment.
Not for long. I know you're watching that account. Alex is so close to taking over me.
Give me 2 months, I'll be there.
2 months. I know what you that the day that happens, I'll wake up and there'll be a message from you going, "Guess who's now the biggest?"
I'm your daddy.
The difference between the two of us is that one of us cares about being the biggest, which is Alex, and one of us does not care about being the biggest, which is me.
So I don't care about being the biggest between you and me. I want to be, apart from BRS, who I'm never going to catch. I want to be the biggest in the hobby, apart from BRS.
And reef builders and inappropriate reefer. I know you might
catch. I'll catch. Moki doesn't upload very often. I'll catch him.
Only.
No, once a month. He's got 2 kids now.
Yeah.
And reef builders, I'll catch reef builders. I'll catch tidal gardens. Might take me a bit of time, but anyway, enough of me bragging.
Not if you're posting every 2 weeks now.
No, well, I think it'll do better. I might not do, but I think it'll be better. But yeah, that's who the other guy is. He's right, and he also runs a coral farm. You sell corals to people in the UK.
Correct.
An excellent coral farm, and I've bought plenty of corals from Ryan before. No discount. In fact, I think he puts the prices up.
Of course.
This is not sponsored. You don't pay me to come on these live streams. We're just friends. We just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Ryan, your coral farm is genuinely very, very good. And I would thoroughly recommend purchasing Ryan's corals. PrestigeReef.co.uk.
You said just how I asked you to say it.
Yeah, if you can send me the commission after, that'd be great.
Someone just quickly, Steve mentioned, he said, can I visit you on a Saturday? People can visit me basically whenever they want, because this is my full-time job, on the condition that you send me a message first. So don't just turn up, you've got to check that I'm here, but most of the time I am, and usually I try to accommodate people. So yeah, if you want to come on a Saturday, not a problem. You want to come on a Sunday? You want to come at 10 o'clock at night on a Wednesday? I'll probably be here. So anyway,
bit of Prestige Reef admin.
Yeah.
But yeah, you only have 1,400. I've got 1,400 subs to go to catch you, Ryan.
I wouldn't even know that. I love that.
I didn't know that.
You did you?
No, I knew I was within a couple of thousand. Anyway, Ryan, question about torch corals. Why is it Alex's torch coral that got munched by his shrimp looks so different than the dragon soul on your shop? Yeah, Ryan, I got that from you. What's happened?
Well,
why did you send me a duff coral, Ryan?
Well, it wasn't that. You had a good coral until somehow you managed to kill it.
Basically, when I got that from you, it looked when I got it in my tank. So I saw a video. You did a video.
Yeah, I did it for you.
Messaged me or whatever. You just posted a video on whatever day you posted it, and I messaged you. I was like, "Can I have that coral, please?"
Yeah.
And it looked exactly the same when I got it in my tank as it did in your video. So you're not missold or anything. But over time, and that for a start, the video I showed with the peppermint shrimp, that was under whiter lights, so it's never going to look quite the same. But it's under blue lights now. Oh, where is it? It's over there. Yeah, and it's looking all right, but it lost its colours. It took about 6 months to a year, but it lost its colours. And actually, my other Hellfire or Dragon Soul, whatever it was that I bought a couple of years ago, that's much bigger, lost its colours pretty much straight away within a month or two. So I don't know what it is, but it's probably something I'm doing wrong with torches. Too much light.
I think you have too much light for that. I might be wrong.
But with that one, there's bugger all light in that tank.
Oh, yeah.
It was shaded in my other tank before that. It's still.
But it went into the big tank, didn't it? First, that was when it lost its color, didn't it? Oh, really?
Oh, for like a day. No, it held its colors for months.
Oh, did it?
So I don't know what it was. It was in the main tank for a week or two. So I don't know. I don't know what I did, but I'm doing something I've done. Maybe I've got low potassium. I don't know. I've got no idea.
So I've never had a torch coral. I've had a torch coral die, but I've never had a torch coral lose color. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what it is specifically, because if someone said to me, "What makes a torch coral lose color?" It's purely a guess, because I've never had it.
Yeah, but it's weird. I don't know why. It's weird, but
all the corals that are on the website at the moment, have been in captivity. Some of them have been in captivity in the farm for like probably 13 years now, but like some of the hammers and frog spawns. But some of the corals are imported. That they've been in the farm for at least 6 weeks. So you can't have better rested corals if they're being imported than 6 weeks, can you? Well, you can. It can be 7 weeks.
Well, yeah, yeah, but many for years as well. But
yeah.
Can Jason bring his whale shark to the farm?
Of course, if you can put it in a bag and bring it, you're welcome to bring it.
In a bag? You're an animal, Ryan.
How are you going to bring it here? Tupperware box.
What?
Tupperware box.
Yeah, you got a polystyrene box.
Yes, so yeah.
What is it with the sales and admin questions?
No,
Ryan, I'm looking
it's against the rules.
The limeberry hystrix off your site, but just wanted to check first if that green and purple looking bird's nest, or is that the bird of paradise?
I don't know the difference between a limeberry and a bird of paradise, if I'm honest.
Bird of paradise is more of a pink and green. If it's limeberry, it's blue and green, I think. Basically,
the pictures on the website is the coral. So, and you know that my pictures usually don't represent the coral very well. As far as I know, it's a limeberry.
Yeah, it probably is. And when you say your photos don't represent them very well, that means that the photos are worse than the actual coral. So when you buy the coral, usually you'll be like, oh wow,
yes,
this is better than I thought it was. Yeah. Usually. And more admin. Just to clarify, I don't think either look bad. The colours just look different. I love the blueness of it. I do think it looks bad now. It doesn't. And I fragged up my main one that I bought from somewhere else that has lost its colours, and it looks okay. I've got 4 frags of it now that I'm going to sell at some point, cheaper than Prestige Reef prices as well.
Wow.
But it looks fine. I'm hoping I'll get some of the colours back. I'm starting to feed it, but it looks it's a nice coral still. But when it's got the gold colouring, it's much nicer in my opinion. But
okay. Just one thing now, because people are now asking more questions. This is the last question because this is not a sales thing, and I don't want it to turn out it's unfair. Someone said, "How do I visit the shop?" In fact, 2 people have said it. Basically, if you email me or message me on Facebook or Instagram or anywhere but here, I will come back to you. But that's the last question we're going to do on the coral farm. Any other questions? Just email me and I'll come back to you later. So
happy days. And you've been tagged. I don't know what Big Dave wants, but he's tagging you. But anyway, we'll move on. So we've done shrimp, turbo snails, crabs. We've not done crabs yet. We've kind of done urchins. Basically, urchins are awesome, and you don't like them because you're a moron. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's pretty sums up pretty well.
Let's do a poll.
I was going to say that, but I didn't want to say it because I think I'll lose this one.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I actually do.
Well, I'm asking, do you like urchins? Do you think that's a fair question?
Yes.
Ask your community.
Not romantically, just for your fish tank. So, to clarify.
Glad you clarified that.
Well, look, we've got a whale shark man in. You never know what he's thinking.
This is true.
Probably about whale sharks.
No, we have not covered. We're coming on to crabs now, and that was the last thing on urchins. So crabs then. You and I don't tend to like hermit crabs, and yet actually I realised the other day I installed my Calquaster stirrer today, and that meant moving my sump around, and I disturbed a hermit crab, and there was this hermit crab scooting across the sump. I was like, oh cool, but I have a few hermit crabs, but not many, and I don't like them because they tend to evict snails from their shells and kill snails, which is presumably your reason.
That's exactly the same reason I don't like it. I think I have one hermit crab, which I like my that was very comfortable. But I think I have one hermit crab in all the 4,000 litre system because it was given to me. Yeah, it's in I have a tub with Xenia in it, and it can't get out of the tub because it's plastic and obviously it can't climb the side, so I leave it in there. But there was one hermit crab which I really like a lot, but I can't remember what the name of it is. It's brown, and it's got like one big claw,
antler, and
one little claw, and it's got blue eyes. It's
mental.
It's like a right-handed crab or something.
It's quite prickly when showing affection, but who cannot love someone whose butt is their mouth?
It's literally called the left-handed hermit crab.
Left-handed? That's ridiculous.
That's what they're called. They're called left-handed.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I just say it's a ridiculous name.
You should Google it, and you'll see they've got they're like brown with white claws and blue eyes, and they're quite big. That's my favorite hermit crab, but I usually only have one of them.
Which one?
It is not the big one. So, yeah.
This one.
Not the that one.
Oh yeah. He's got like turquoise eyes.
Yeah, and they've got one big, one little hand.
I've never even heard of that. That's cool.
Yeah, they're cool, but you don't listen. You don't have loads of them. You might have one of them and a load of red ones and a load of green. I think maybe the reason that I like it is because when you've got 5 red hermit crabs or 5 blue ones, you can't tell them apart. If you've just got one of these along with all the others, you've got one special one, haven't you? Maybe that's why I like it.
So the only hermit crabs most hermit crabs are generally okay. Like the little red leg hermit crabs are the ones I tend to go for.
Yeah,
especially if you can get the small ones in the tiny shells, because they're so small they're not going to eat any snails. But they do. I've had hermit crabs scooting around in snail shells before. It's like, oh mate. But the only ones I really don't like are Hawaiian hermits. Do you know what Hawaiian hermit is?
Are they they're not the Halloween ones. What are the Hawaiian ones?
Yes, Halloween. Yeah, exactly right.
Oh really? I think that's
Sorry?
I think that's the one I've got.
Really?
Yeah, I like that.
Let me bring up this video of it. This is my one. This is one I'm talking about.
Yeah, they're cool.
Oh, it's not that they're not cool. They're very, very cool indeed. Awesome. But they are absolute bastards when it comes to eating snails.
Are they?
Oh, absolutely. They're a night. I had 1 or 2, and as soon as I put a snail in, they were on it, like instantly. They were like, right, I'm gonna deck this guy. So I don't like them.
I wasn't looking at the comments. I hadn't been reading them. Now I can see everyone's commenting about the urchins. You guys see all the comments? I like the way he makes me feel. His spines excite me.
Down the pants is a bold move. I like the way he makes.
Once you go stingy, you don't go back.
Oh,
so,
okay.
What have I started?
Yeah. Let's go spy. Yeah. Okay. But yeah. So yeah. I don't generally like them because they're bastards, but they are cool and they like bimble around and climb up rocks and stuff. So and I like having them as part of my cleanup crew because they do things that snails don't do.
Yeah,
and I'm
you just don't like them that much.
Exactly, but I just don't like they kill snails. That's the problem because they're generally, as a general rule, they're not compatible. And by the way, I'm ending the poll. 79% of people like urchins. I finally won.
There you go. That was like a sympathy one for you, I think, more than anything else.
20 live streams. That's the first one I've won. So, but yeah, there we go. So so that's basically it. With crabs though. With actually, do you know what?
There's all different crabs. We get some weird ones. You get decorated crabs.
Before you talk about crabs and stuff, do you want to talk about crabs while I go to the loo quickly?
Yeah, if you
Thanks
want.
very much. See you in a second.
This is hard because I don't normally have to do this on your channel. So, and normally I interact with the comment section, and I'm not even been reading the comments. So, what would you like to talk about while he goes to the toilet? Hopefully, it's a quick toilet break. But why has he done this? Right. What would you, in the comment section, what would you like to talk about for the next minute or hopefully minute? We can go back to talking about the coral farm if you really want. But he's definitely thrown me off. Yes, porcelain and enemy crabs. I like those. But the ones he's gone to his urchins. That's probably secretly what he is actually doing. Is my hair real? Why would it not be real? It's an interesting question, but my hair, I can confirm, is real. But you see how flustered I get when I'm not prepared.
See, I make it look easy. That's the thing.
No.
I just drying my hands because I did wash them, definitely.
Yeah, it's not that. It's the fact that, like, if I was doing a live stream by myself, I'm prepared, but it literally was like, "But wait, I'm going." I was like,
"No, yeah, I didn't give you much warning."
Well, up to date with the comment section, and you've just disappeared. So what am I talking about?
So my earphones cut out. Did you actually talk about anything, or did you just be like, "I can't do this"?
No, I basically just did that. And then someone asked if my hair was real, which I'm not sure why, but it is.
I mean, there's a lot of it. So
yeah, the pressure is on. Don't buckle. That was the fastest toilet trip. How did your toilet? Did you just piss in the frag tank? Like you barely went anywhere.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah.
Someone just said we know Alex has got a good prostate.
Okay, wicked. Yeah, cool. Yeah, high phosphate. Prostate.
Is that what does it for you?
Doesn't matter. Yeah, you should have shown some muscle whilst I was away, for God's sake. Anyway, we'll talk about. I woke my cat up, so he's come in. I wanted to finish off on crabs. So there's other crabs. So obviously not just hermits. Arrow crab we talked about early.
Yeah,
they look awesome, but they've got a reputation for just eating whatever they want, basically.
Yes, they're one of those things where people who don't know what they are, they go, "Oh, I'll get that for my tank," until people then learn what they are. To be fair, there are three inverts which Mindy had, which most people altogether, which most people would stay away from. She had 2 reef lobsters, she had an arrow crab, and a banded shrimp, boxing shrimp, and a blood shrimp and a clear shrimp. All those in the same tank.
Big tank?
It was a big tank, but they're known for taking fish, some of those. And to be fair, some of the fish did go missing. And I assume that one of those, I thought it was the lobsters most likely to take it in the night. Because reef lobsters get quite big. So, when you
he's used to Reef Dork. Any hair is lots of hair compared.
Yes, that's true. Going back to just a minute ago, because someone said you did buckle, and I did. You said talk about crabs, and I was like, I have no other thought in my mind.
Yeah. So
what do I talk about?
There's a YouTube channel called Billy on the Street.
Yeah,
and he goes up to people with a microphone in the street, like improv basically, and asks them a question and puts the microphone in the face. And people like buckle when you ask. So he went up to this one lady, and he was like, "For $1, name a woman," and then shoves a camera and a microphone in her face, and she's going, And he's like, "Name a woman, name a woman." And she's like, "Oh, I don't know. Why is this so hard?" He's like, "Any woman," and she can't do it because it's.
Well, that's what you just did to me.
I know exactly. Yeah. He is reef safe, yes, with caution, because he can eat fish.
True.
But he hasn't eaten any fish so far. So arrow crabs, probably a no, but they do look cool, but probably no. And mythos crabs, emerald crabs.
Yeah.
What's your experiences with emerald crabs?
They do eat coral, definitely.
Yeah.
What they also sometimes eat bubble algae. Sometimes, not always.
Yeah. What corals have you had them eat?
I can't even remember. I just remember getting one out of the tank, and I can't remember what. This was a long time ago. I can't remember why. And I also remember when you want to get them out, they're so hard to get out because they hold onto the rock, and then you've got a choice. Either you pull harder, and then eventually their legs will come off, or you leave them there and try and get them off somehow. But
they scuttle away as well.
Yes, they're quite quick when they're not easy to catch, considering you'd think they would be.
When this is the same with every animal. But when you've tried to catch it once, they know that you're coming back for them, so they're even more cautious.
Yeah, you wonder how intelligent some of these creatures are, but it does seem to be that way.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they've got defense built in, haven't they? Everyone, all animals have. But what I was going to say, so I've had an emerald crab eat, and in front of my eyes, so I've seen it. This is not speculating. A stylophora, and so I pulled the stylo frag out, and I was like, all right, that's fine, we won't do that. And then half an hour later, he was eating a Hystrix. Yeah. And I was like, oh, for God's sake, just chewing the polyps off. I was like, all right, mate. So I had to fish him out.
I back when I had it, it would have been some either soft coral or LPS. I don't remember what it was, but this was long before the YouTube channel. Remember, I've been doing it for a long time. So it could have been 12 years ago for all I remember. But I just remember getting out for some reason. It probably was some sort of mushroom or something, or zoas.
Yeah, okay. Well, so they eat everything basically. But fair enough. I posted that, by the way, because these are the new emojis I've made for members.
Oh, what does that mean?
The text on the screen just says "dunno," shocked, so it doesn't show what it is. Yeah, there you go. So emerald crab's another one who's had them eating polyps off hystrix, and Pasillipora, which is basically the same as a stylo.
Yeah.
Look similar looking anyway. So yeah, but I don't know. That's the only time I've had them a few times, and that's the only time I've had a problem with them. And someone at a shop said to me, I can't remember which way around it was, but apparently you can sex them. You can tell the difference between male and female by something underneath the crab. And
stop doing this while talking about touching a crab. That's weird.
We're back onto the urchins, aren't we? But so apparently you can tell the difference between genders. And this one person said that I can't remember which way around it was, but either the male doesn't eat coral or the female doesn't eat coral or something like that. And when she said it, I was like, actually, that kind of makes sense. But I didn't want to, I'd had a bad experience, so I didn't want to try it again. But I was like, I wonder. But that's one person who said it, so I'm not saying, hey, this is a fact. And I can't remember which way around it was. But
well, you've said it. Actually, you've said it twice on this and another one, I remember. So people are taking this as fact. They're going around inappropriately touching crabs because of what you're telling. Yes.
But yeah, it was one of those things that when she said it, I was like, I want to try that.
You want to try this to a crab? It's getting worse. You're the urchin man, aren't you?
Yeah, it's me just typing away in the background.
Yeah.
Focus. Do you guys believe in the eye story? What's the eye story? Do you know what the eye story is?
Intriguing.
Tell us. Just another reefer. But yeah, and one other thing on crabs, horseshoe crabs. I mean, that's a niche purchase.
Yeah,
and you've never had. Have you had one?
I've never had one. I've seen them in a shop this big, and I've seen them in a shop this big, where they take up like half of the tank. They have blue blood. Do you know that?
Really? That's cool.
Yeah. So the reason they have blue blood, I think, is because I think, might be wrong, it's something to do with the hemoglobin. They don't have it in their blood. Their blood is different to ours. So all of our medicine gets tested on it. Did you know that?
Really? On horseshoe crabs? I feel like I might have heard that, actually.
Horseshoe crab blood is worth more, I think, than gold. And what they do is they take all the horseshoe crabs. Yep. They milk them. I don't know if they put them back or not.
How you get blood out of a crab, mine.
I'm telling you, this is true.
You've just got nipples on your mind.
Get blood out of a crab.
Yeah, exactly.
It is true. They like, I don't know if the crabs die. I have a feeling that they don't, but I'm not sure. But all of our medicine and everything gets tested on it. Are you Googling it?
Is horseshoe crab... I'm going to start breeding and bleeding horseshoe crabs.
Yeah.
Horseshoe crab blood. And this is just a random... when you Google something and it poses questions that you click on.
Yeah.
It says horseshoe crab blood is worth an estimated $15,000 a quarter of a gallon. That's a litre, roughly, according to Mid-Atlantic grant programs. 15 grand a litre.
So basically, go and get a horseshoe crab and just keep gradually over a period of time keep milking it.
Smash it.
Yeah,
stop milking crabs to get blood out. I mean, this is
basic biology. I've seen them doing it. I don't know if we're sort of laughing. Everyone's saying that it abuses them. I don't know if it does or doesn't abuse them. But
it sounds bad to me.
I'm sure that they can survive it, but maybe not.
Okay. Yeah, it's like anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's not get into animal cruelty. That's a bad idea. They use copper instead of iron for oxygen. What? That's mental. Because copper's for anyway. That's wow. I had no idea.
You got some homework to do.
I know, yeah. Your
next video is, did you know the horseshoe crabs blah blah blah?
Put a little IV in it, yeah. Keep it alive and drain that gold. But how many liters of blood does a horseshoe crab have? I'm guessing
not a lot, probably.
Milliliters. Anyway, let's move on from torturing poor little. Oh, these are a terrible idea. I literally have nightmares. Literally, not joking. I've had nightmares about Sally Lightfoot crabs.
Weird.
Have you ever had one? I haven't.
No, but again, Mindy had one in that same tank.
Did she? Did it? Well, and the tank that all the fish went missing.
No, not all. Some of the small fish did go missing.
Yeah.
It was a firefish, but she had loads of fish in there, wrasses and everything.
I am taking the mick about animal abuse. Animal abuse is bad. But anyway, but yes. Anyway, so we'll move on from crabs because Sally Lightfoot's a niche. They look horrible as much as anything. I don't know if they eat corals or fish or whatever.
You don't see those that often either. Is there benefit to them?
I see them time to time. To be fair,
You probably get more shots than me.
oh, actually, hilariously, these look like the. Oh, why is it open? My that's not even open. I don't get that. Hang on a second.
Lee's Wren's whale poop is worth loads. It's not the poop there is something that comes from sperm whales.
Sick.
Yeah, they throw it up. It's called ambergrease, and they
yes,
yeah, it's like this.
They make soap out of it, don't they?
It's perfumes and stuff like that.
Perfume, yeah. Reef Factory is a good one. What? I know this is off topic, but my Inkbird temp controller packed in this week. Any recommendations for a reliable controller? Reliable heating controller. I mean, I've had a Reef Factory one for a couple of years, and it's still working. Never had any problems with it. It is good. But I would guess if your reliability is your sole aim, GHL is probably the way to go. You've got a GHL one, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
a Pro Flux. It's expensive, but
yeah. If it's for a temperature, if it's just to control temperature, it's an expensive option, but it works.
Yeah, very true. I use the. In fact, you might be able to see it. You can see it there. It's a DDH2 Ocean, Simply Aquaria heating controller. It's fine. It's cheap, so that's probably what I'd go for. But the Reef Factory one is very good. But anyway, so that's all crabs done. We've done Ryan. We finished with 3 minutes to go.
That everything?
That's one. With 3 minutes to go, we've covered everything that I had on my list, which is amazing given we've spent about an hour talking about nonsense.
Yeah, longer than that. And some guys putting urchins down his trousers, like all sorts of.
I know, yeah. I was feeling up crabs.
Sometimes when I'm sitting at home and this is a long time ago when you were doing a live stream, and occasionally I'll pop in and you'll mention my name. And it was like, oh yeah, you mentioned my name. I imagine that the urchin man is currently sitting there on his sofa going, yeah, that was me. I was the one who said about putting urchins down my trousers.
Darling, you'll never guess what just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was talking to Lara, and I was like, what?
No. Well, so what you're saying is when I mention your name, it's a big deal because
I'm like, oh yeah, he mentioned me.
It's funny. There's a like a videography channel called DSLR Video Shooter. Really, really good channel. The guy's really just nice, likable guy. And I've clicked on his live streams a couple of times and asked a question, and I get really excited when he reads it out. It's like, yes.
Isn't it weird that that's how you feel? But then again, that must be how people in the chat feel as well when we do it. Or I don't really read one out, but
but there we go.
Someone said
squat lobsters. Sorry.
I was reading a comment lower down, so
we'll come back onto that. Coral recovery. So squat lobsters though are a good one. The only squat lobsters are wicked, but you probably never see it, and it probably is either get eaten or it disappear. I've bought them a couple of times and they just disappear. Have you ever had a squat lobster?
No. Les is always every comment Les sends to me is always trying to poke me. Not in a bad way. He just said, can I come at 10 p.m. on Saturday? Which is because I said you can come anytime, didn't I? I assume that Les is joking. If you want to come, Les, at 10 p.m. on Saturday, you can, but
he might be talking 10 a.m. Sometimes horseshoe crabs die in the bleeding process, by the way. That's why it's bad.
Yeah, so they sometimes... Oh, so they do survive, yeah. That's what I thought.
They can survive, sometimes they don't. But yeah. The other question, this might have been the one you saw. Tips on coral recovery project.
Yeah, I didn't know what that meant. What does that mean?
So I think he's saying if you were to buy a coral that's in poor health and recover it, which corals make good candidates for that? For me, it's Scollies.
Just trackies, scollies, lobophilia, anything that's sort of those sorts of. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. You can have any SPS coral which looks a bit bleached, and then you put it in your tank. But if you want a noticeable difference, a challenge, scollies are a good one. Trackies also can be brought back as well.
Anything with SPS, it's harder and they're more likely to die. With anything fleshy like LPS fleshy like scollies, trackies, lobos, that sort of thing, you can feed them.
Yeah,
and that makes a difference. And they're probably a bit more survivable. So,
Les apparently was not joking. Les, send me a message.
10 a.m.
Range it.
What? Okay. I think we're getting.
Wait on what?
But yeah. So as people talking about horseshoe crabs, it's a sensitive subject, I think, because it's not pleasant. But anyway, I mean, more tips on the process. Oh, I see. First thing, put it in low light. Whatever coral it is, pectinia. So I've never had a pectinia, but any coral that is suffering, I put it in the lowest light spot possible, shaded ideally.
Yeah,
because corals will be happier there. Test your water salinity, all your parameters, make sure they're stable. Basically, just keep your water as you should do. But I would also put it in low light, flow, probably lowish flow, and feed it if it's an LPS.
that's all I would have said as well. So
because there's not much to it. It's not that you're guaranteed to have success.
It's down to luck, isn't it?
Yeah, completely.
So because you might get 10 scollies, for example, you might feed them all the same, and then 5 of them might survive and 5 of them might not survive. So one of the things that people ask me quite often, and I feel like this isn't mentioned enough. People will come to me and they'll say, I've got 5 hammers and one of them is not doing okay. Why is that one not doing okay, but all the others are doing fine? And I think that people need to stop expecting corals of the same species to act the same. Because what I say to them is, if you've got 5 people in a room and 4 of them are sick and one of them's not sick, do you see what? Or 4 are fine and one of them's sick. It's just they're all different. But people don't view corals like that. They go, I've got a gonny already, and I've got a new gonny. That one should be the same as the other gonny. you understand?
It's funny, isn't it? Yeah. Because the 5 people thing is a really good analogy. I've never thought of it that way, but it's because what you normally think is, especially if you buy a new coral, and all your other corals are fine, and the new coral comes in and it's not fine, your automatic thought is this is a duff coral because everything else is fine.
Yeah,
but it's not the case. It's not that simple.
No, I had someone who had a gonny from me, and the gonny didn't open up, and I actually gave the guy half the money back in the end because it wasn't dead. It didn't open up, but he did have other gonnies which were fine. And just after I gave him half the money back, probably within 2 weeks, gonny's open. I did not get my money back.
No, well, yeah.
But you see what I mean? It's like
corals sometimes take time to settle.
Yeah,
and like zoas and GSP, you might not see them for 3 weeks if your water's crap.
Yeah.
And you just see this mat, and you're like, oh God, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then a month later, they've come out. They might die, but as often as not with hardy soft corals.
Have you seen we have a new celebrity in? I don't think we've had a celebrity in.
Colette. Well, we've had other celebrities, but no one.
No, I don't think we've had Alice of them here. I don't think before.
Stephanie from Queen of Reef.
No, I said we haven't had this celebrity.
Oh, we have not had this celebrity. No, correct.
So,
but yeah,
not just any celebrity. Colette's like the spokesperson for TMC, isn't she? She's like
professional celebrity.
Yes, yeah. She's one of the few people actually turned it into her career.
I know. Yeah. Well, so is you. Yeah. In fact, yeah, you two are like the king and queen of celebrity professional reefers. So.
Actually, I had someone message me. I think you had the message that Colette recommended us.
Yeah, Ian Bowyer.
Yeah. Because Ian said
to give us free mysis shrimp.
Yes. Yeah.
We're at the end, so we'll wrap up. But on that point, I just wanted to talk very quickly about that. So you and I get offered stuff like that all the time.
Yes.
And actually, it feels like a good thing. Oh, free stuff, great. That's a burden with most things.
Yeah.
And so
it sounds bad saying it's a burden. When you take something from someone, you feel obliged to do something. So if ever anyone, people in the comments, so I don't know if anyone's watching this away. If someone offers us something and we say no, it's nothing about the product. Sometimes I literally can't take it. Someone offered me a product the other day that it specifically alters your magnesium level, and I said to the guy, was like, thank you for the offer, but where I have a coral farm with tens of thousands of pounds worth of coral, they're all doing fine. Why would I change what I'm doing at the moment for this when the risk is far greater, if you see what I mean?
Mm. But yeah, so I often think when people offer me stuff, especially if it's their own business and it means a lot to them, and I'm like, sorry, I'm not interested.
Yeah,
I often think I feel bad.
You could put it nicely, you know.
Well, no, I do.
I can't do it right now. Yeah, that's a nice way of doing it.
But I try to be clear. But I do try to be nice. Maybe I'm not always, but I try to be at least. Maybe it doesn't come across. I don't know, but I try to be. But it's particularly if it was something like if it was supplements or whatever, like dosing supplements. I was on dosing supplements a couple of years ago. It's like that's actually a significant risk to my tank if I'm making a change.
Yeah.
And what's the value of it? Like, what am I getting out of it? Like 20, 30
what are you getting out of it? Oh, it's all about you.
Well, yeah. but then I've got to make a video as well. And like you say, you feel obliged and you're like,
yes.
So,
yeah.
But anyway, that's a digression. Sorry, guys. we're not complaining. No problem with people coming to us.
No, it was interesting why you actually wanted to mention it, actually, because you.
It was worth mentioning. I just because when I got that message recently, I just thought, just like why am I going to do it? Basically, if I'm getting something that's 10 quid, I've then got to, like, even if I'm posting on Instagram about it, have I got to be positive about it? If I don't, what value can I add? I'm not going to make a video about something like that. But anyway, whatever.
Yeah. The other thing as well is it's hard to prove that a product is better or worse based on your anecdotal evidence of having one bottle of it. And even with anything, whether it's the food or anything, it's like, if you can feed fish mysis, you can feed them pellets, you can feed them flake, you can feed them like the mastic stuff that sticks on. The reality is they'll eat most of it and they're going to survive, and you'll never know if they're getting what they need nutrient wise or not. So it's a difficult one. But
anyway, but yeah, so our celebrity's chuckling away in the background. So, but yeah, so I'm going to wrap up because we're 10 minutes late. Wow, we've gone big on inverts. Are you around? Are you around next week?
I will be around next week.
Excellent.
So this is like the highlight of my week.
Yeah, I have another question for you, another topic for you. So we'll go with that as well. But thank you very much, guys, for joining and engaging on that sort of stuff. And have a good week. I'll catch you next week. Bye, guys.
See you later.